All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Modern Wong Chat, where I talk with my friends from different industry, gaming, cosplay, and all over the place. It's been quite some crazy time going on out there right now, so it's good, to have some socializing at least on the internet. That's how I feel. At least that's what I use these shows for. And tonight we have Atomic Mari. She does gaming content. She does all kind of stuff, very mostly on YouTube. So I'm sure you have seen her face before, heard her voice. You might even seen her ads all over the internet because I see her do lots of stuff like with Windows and all these big brands. It's super, super amazing. A lot of fun. Anyway, I'll let her describe herself so she can tell you more about what she does because she does so many different things. I don't even know what exactly she does. What's up?
That is a wonderful intro you gave me.
I just realized I always make it up on the spot, so I'm like, oh no, what am I saying this time? And every time it's like, hopefully I get it right. I mean, at least don't get it wrong.
No, you didn't get it wrong. And if anything, it's like I never really think about the ads in a sense where it's like other people see them. I like doing them because for me it's getting to work with companies that not only I grew up with, but I absolutely loved my whole life. Like getting to work with Microsoft and Nintendo and all these names it's bananas. It's bananas.
Like I see you on my Windows ad all the time. And this is one thing I talk to my other friends as well who are content creators, who are influencers. Like every time I see those, I always try to drop a comment, either your post or it's like their post, regardless. So like, hey, yeah, good job hiring good people, so I can support it. Please do more of that.
You're a good friend.
That's what we do.
Heck yeah. No, it's I mean, I think all of us who are in this position of being able to have any sort of audience, have any sort of voice on a platform, I think it all comes back to just being grateful for the fact that we get to do this. Like, in no other generation have we been able to have this sort of not only freedom to talk about what we want to talk about or what's important to us, but the capabilities and the tools in our toolbox to reach so many people. So it always goes back to gratitude for me.
We broke a lot of barriers in the last, I say, 10 years. Not only like how technology limits, because we cut out a lot of middlemen, right? Like back then you have to go through like an agency, a marketing company, then they hire people, and then maybe a casting, like all this stuff. And then on top of that, us being Asian, that's also another barrier that's usually that they do not include us in anything that's regarding entertainment, advertising, any of those.
Unless you are the token Asian or, martial arts. It's one of those two. And, we were able to be in a cookie cutter sort of like box within media and stuff like that. But things are changing and things are changing fast, man. It goes back to how much representation affects us so much. I just watched a Netflix movie called Disclosure, and it's about how media entertainment has shaped all of our minds on how we react to trans men and women. And looking back in seeing how films are depicting trans men and women, it's always been either the butt of the joke, or if it's a comedy scene, it's like whenever somebody comes through a door in a comedy scene, what does the audience do? It's usually laughter. It's usually this reaction, and seeing that so often in media, it's almost trained us to react a certain way with trans men and women. It's like it's just, you don't think that you are, you have these biases, but there's so many things that's been ingrained in us because of the things that we've watched. And so it's kind of like this cleansing of oh man, what are my sexist biases? What are my racist biases? What are my insensitivities that I haven't known about or thought about, and it's almost like this Marie Kondoing that we're doing with all of ourselves.
Yeah,
It's
and I think
profound.
because like for us, we have so I feel like there's a whole new generation of Asian American that found it again because of access to maybe technology, Twitter, Instagram, like YouTube. They're able to speak out more and more have a representation in different space. And also, I think it's because it's a new generation of Asian immigrants, meaning they also have some sort of a identity, I wouldn't say crisis, but kind of like they need to figure out like, what does it mean to be an Asian American? Because,
Yes.
they don't really feel like they're Asian enough to be understanding the Asian culture, but don't also feel like being accepted by American because they're born Asian. So,
100%. Yeah, I think so many of us who I'm first generation, and so I guess in Asian customs I'm second generation, which is interesting.
so
My
we have, I
parents
have
are
this talk
immigrants.
all the time too. It's like you're technically an first generation Asian American. You're second generation immigrant. That's
Yes,
how it defined.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Okay, that makes so much more sense because okay, thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, there is absolutely an identity crisis, and I think when you're growing up, you want to almost like flush the Asianness out of you.
Hmm.
Especially growing up, like in the '90s, it was
Hmm.
definitely how can you assimilate the best with the people around you, and depending on the neighborhood that you grew up in,
Hmm.
it was this sort of wanting to whitewash yourself as much as possible so that you
Because
can
those
almost
were
guard
the
yourself.
popular kids in high school. The white kid, the cheerleader, like the very common, like as you've seen like 90s movies and TV show, like those are the popular kids, and they were back then. So then it's hard not for kids, especially at such a young age. You want to be they're impressionable. You want to impress
Yeah,
others. You want to be just like them. So anything that has to do with Asians, like culture, food, any of that, like people want to push it away. And being an Asian American, you have to have that conflict of like, oh, I am not like an Asian like those. I'm the cool one. So it's kind of like a weird, like, internal and external struggle.
yeah, for sure. It's like you want to emulate what you see in the movies, and if you
Hmm.
don't see yourself, then you do whatever you can in order to emulate what you do see, and it's just there's so many different nuances. It's not just race, it's also like sexism
Mm.
as well. It's like I know for a fact that I growing up, like I would emulate like the like white male adventurous characters, like Indiana Jones and Han Solo were like my characters that I'm like, that's me, because I didn't
Mm.
see anyone else that was represented. So I like no one really emulated who I was.
Uh-huh.
So I chose those characters as like, okay, well, since I don't see me, then those people are me then. Um, and so it's strange. Like I think it's very human to want to see yourself in whatever media you're
Entertainment.
consuming. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had this fantastic interview the other day with somebody who goes by Ebonics, and she's really big in the Sims mod community.
Mm.
And she started years ago, I think in 2015. She started modding Sims characters in order to better represent Black people. And
Mm.
she started it because she wanted like a dashiki. It started from just that, but then
Hmm.
it spiraled into so many people being like, oh, well, I want to see myself in Sims. I want more shades. I want to see more hairstyles, and all these things. And it's like literally in a game that's called Sims, which is supposed to be a
Simulate real
simulation.
life. Hmm.
Yeah, it's like the tools aren't there for people to be able to even emulate themselves in a game. And so, like I think we have similar problems with trying to create Asian characters. Like it's usually like a white character with darker hair color, or like the most Asian looking person ever. It's one or the other. There just aren't enough tools yet in so
Hmm.
many games. And so it's a greater conversation, I think,
And like
that
I don't
needs to
even
be
see
happening.
like Asians on like as a main characters on most video games as like a cover or like as a main character. That doesn't really happen yet so far. And I've been looking too. So
I think it depends, right? It's a regional thing. I think that there are, like in Japan.
Oh, definitely.
There,
I mean,
but in the US, I think they still are. It's all about what will sell. What's going to sell, and it's usually still male characters. It's still usually white male characters.
Which I understand, because if they don't make money, they're gonna go out of business, and then there's gonna be less company gonna try to do that. So I get it. So that's why for Crazy Rich Asian, regardless it was a good movie or bad movie, like the movie itself, I feel like having the box office really helps it for people to like, oh, people are willing to spend on this kind of movie. Maybe we can explore to make more, then give them example for it.
Dude, I am convinced that Crazy Rich Asians was given the green light in Hollywood because of YouTube. I am convinced it's because of the Ryan Higas and the Kev Jumbas out there who were leading Asian like men who like, I don't know, who and like the Michelle Pfans out there too. Like it's like they were the main characters of their YouTube channels. They didn't have to play tropes that existed in like Hollywood confines, in like cages. They were their own people, and they had millions of followers. And I think that was the groundwork for Hollywood saying like, oh, okay, Asian people, they can play other characters other than just like badasses who don't speak at all, and being some sort of butt of the joke with their Asian accents. It's like there's so much more to it, and I really like. It's the hill that I'm willing to die on, because I really do think that YouTubers, those early YouTubers, they set the parameters for Hollywood trusting that Asian leads can actually bring in box office hits.
I was just telling someone the other day I actually went to college with Kev Jamba, and also we went to the same high school district.
No way!
Yeah, so I saw him around, like especially like at dining common too. So
that's awesome. I love how what a small world it is. Yeah, that's like how Wes from Wong Fu. He and I did not know each other during high school, but we went to neighboring high schools and had mutual friends and whatnot. But we didn't know about this until like maybe like a year or two into our friendship, and we're like, oh, where'd you go to school? It's like, wait, I went to school like literally next door. Wait, we're in the same year. Yeah, so I love it when we find out just how small our worlds are.
It's great. Like it's funny too. Like the other day I was talking about I just finished watching Black Mirror, and I'm like, I know these are sci-fis because they have Asian male boyfriend. I'm like, this is new. Like it's just weird for me to feel weird that like, oh, that stands out to me, because I usually don't see that in most entertainment, especially in Hollywood media.
Wait, which episode is this?
There are a few episodes, not just one. There are a few of them. One of them was let's see, the woman that was pregnant, and then she blocked her boyfriend.
Like the blocking episode.
But one of the character is a boyfriend. He's an Asian male guy. I'm like, huh. And spoiler alerts. And at the end of the episode, you learn that's like the daughter that his supposed to be his daughter, the white guy's daughter. But then he later found out that she looks Asian. So most likely, his girlfriend has slept with the Asian boyfriend guy, the other guy. So like, oh, okay. So he plays actually a certain role in that episode as well. So I'm like, okay, that's new. I
think it's about normalizing it, right? And like one of my favorite Hollywood castings is, and I haven't really even like watched through the show, but Rami Malek for Mr. Robot. I think it's one of my favorite castings because I have to look up his let's see, Mr. Robot, like what his character's name is. But It's something like really like Elliot and Alderson.
Yes,
Elliot
Elliot.
Alderson sounds like a just like a regular white dude.
Yep.
But they casted Rami Malek, who I believe is Egyptian, and they didn't change his name. They normalized the fact that he's a brown guy named Elliot Alderson, and like I feel like it just works. You know what I mean? Like there's no need for like this is why this is his name. Like it just works, and I feel like that is one of the best cases of normalizing people of color at playing a character. He's not playing like a brown guy playing this character. He's just who he is, and I think that's been one of my favorite ways of not only having the conversation of just let people be people on screen, you know. But yeah, it's I know he's also very outspoken about these sort of casting too. So
as we
cool.
keep moving along and creating, more and more entertainment, but also because people are more overlapping now, like I seen like last name and first name, it's gonna be you can't really tell someone ethnicity or background just by name anymore, and hopefully that will become more normalized. And we'll see how it goes. But how about your last name? Like, does it play a part? Do you think it hurts you? Does it help you? Like, or do you want to stick with like a different name? Like, what is it like for you then?
I grew up hating my name because it was longer than anyone else's name. Like in my class, like just spelling it out used to be so embarrassing for me. But as I grew older, like Japanese culture became cooler and cooler.
Is it weird? Like, it's something that used to be you dislike to be something that people like love and maybe even fetishize. Like, kind of like,
It makes me really, really guilty. It makes me feel really guilty that I didn't stand up for myself and my culture when it was uncool. And you know what I mean? Like I have guilt over that. I remember I would throw away my bento that my mom would pack me. And there was a particular group of people at school who would bully me for my smelly food and things like this. And I remember seeing them years later. I think we all had graduated high school, but I hadn't seen them for years because we went to separate high schools. And I saw them in a sushi restaurant. And they're like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, hey, you probably have no idea the amount of sadness you caused me in my life. And how weird is it that we're in a sushi restaurant saying hello to each other? And it's like, I have... more than anything, more than a resentment towards them, I think I have personal guilt of not standing up for what I knew was something I should have taken pride in. But, times are very, very different then. And
it's hard, right? As we said earlier, that's like if it makes you feel uncool, you don't want to feel like you don't belong. Like having a sense of belong is such a great feeling. And being ostracized by your peers would be like, oh no, there's something wrong with me. So you have to kind of put yourself down to make yourself feel better.
Yeah. I now, jumping to now, like I love wearing my last name, like on my sleeve, like I love wearing my culture on my sleeve. And, like not to the point of like overdoing, but like I think I weave it into things as organically as it speaks to me. And so, I love it. I if anything, I'm unafraid to wear it on my sleeve now, but it took many, many years for that to happen. And, it's sad to say that it took society to catch up to it for me to feel okay with it. And it's rough. I think we're going through it now too, though. Like it took the Me Too movement for people to be okay with women speaking out. It took the Black Lives Matter movement, and this time around with the Black Lives movement, not 2015 when like people were starting to talk about Black Lives Matter. Like Black Lives Matter 2020 is when people started to feel okay about really talking about it and wearing that on their sleeves, putting it on their Twitter and stuff like that. It takes society, it takes a drove of people to make you feel okay about being who you are. And it's an unfortunate trait of being human, I think. We all just want to feel like we belong.
Like, as unfortunate as it is, I think because of coronavirus, that helps people focus more on this kind of issue. Because normally when people are having regular schedule where they go to work, where they're stuck in traffic, and just go home and just watch TV and go to sleep, they don't really have to pay attention to social media, and they just go on with their lives because it doesn't affect them at all. But when now where everyone's stuck at home and your main source of entertainment and interactions is online, I feel like people suddenly feel like, oh, wow, there's a lot of things that's going on that I should start paying attention. And I think it's starting to work. And it's such a unfortunate scenario that might have a better side effect because of that,
For sure. And to your point, I feel like for the first time in probably our lifetime, everybody around the world feels like they're going through something together. There's nobody in the world who you have to explain what it means to be in lockdown, what it means to be out of work because of COVID-19. Like, everyone gets it. And I don't think there has been a time in our lifetime where people across the world was like, oh yeah, you don't have to fill me in. I'm going through it as well. And so I think you're right. I think when movements are happening right now, people feel more connected than ever. A, because they're home, like you said, and B, because I think that there's like this like collective.
We're human, like we're one form, like one, not culture, but more like we're one race. Like we're all being like have to be species. Like we have to face the same thing together. Like it doesn't. It's not a cultural thing. It's not a country thing. It's not like a EU, NA, like regional thing. It's like, no, you all have to face this, and the virus doesn't discriminate. It's like you can die from this. Anyone can die from this. So then we all like, oh shit, we all have to go through things together. So now we're looking at all things, other things as well. Like, oh, things happening in one country, one region can affect everyone else too. So I guess that's also bringing to social issue and political issue as well. So it kind of helps, unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's definitely a silver lining sort of situation, because I don't think anybody takes what's happening lightly. But if we had to look for a silver lining, it is the fact that these conversations are happening. And I don't know, it's kind of like a collective cleansing. I don't know if I already used the Marie Kondo sort of parallel, but it feels like this collective out with what does not bring us joy.
Does it bring you joy?
Yeah, and like stripping ourselves of things that have collected over the years that may or may not be healthy for us. It's interesting, but you can
it's about time
where it's bringing together people on the other side as well, and so it's a catch-22 in some ways.
I think another reason is that because events are not happening, so a lot of the Me Too movements, because things are not happening, a lot of victims do not have to face their abuser in real life, so give them more of a chance and a safe space for them to kind of speak out, I feel like. Because at any time you can easily lose your job and you're gonna get put down on all this issue. Like, for example, TwitchCon's not happening this year, so we have that happening a lot in the gaming industry, where both men and women, but specifically women, are speaking out against abusers about all the past trauma, harassment that they have to face against, but because they're not being affected as much anymore. So I feel like it, again, another silver lining that helps because of that.
Gosh, I never thought of that. I think you're so right. Because
imagine TwitchCon's happening this year. It'd be so weird.
It's you're totally right. It gives it a little bit of time in order for you to not have to see your abusers head on, because you don't want to like detract from going to an event because you might see somebody. That's not fair to you. And so
not.
Most of the times people will still go to these events and make nice and put on a smile and be cordial. But you're totally right. This year there is not that pressure of having to go to an event to continue with like being cordial. That you're not losing out on business. Everyone's losing out on business. I mean, let's be real. Everyone be losing out. But that's a really, really good point, Martin.
Like, companies, a lot of them are worried about, like, if you speak out, even though you're in complete right, everything you do is like, okay, like, makes sense. They don't want people don't want to be known to be hard to work with, regardless you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that happened with Megan Fox as well, from many stories I've read.
Yes. How come that's coming to light like years later? It's so bananas to me. From what I read on headlines, like, it was during Transformers, right? Like she was written off as like hard to work with by Michael Bay. But it's now come to light many years later. I want to say like 7-8 years later. It's been that
longer, maybe even longer.
Even longer? That she left because he was making like advances towards her that was making her very uncomfortable.
Because Transformers, that was like the second one, I think. Let's see, Megan Fox.
Yeah, I think she got hired for the second one, and then she just wasn't asked back. And you're totally right. She had this reputation that she was hard to work with, but it came down to she removed herself because she didn't want these unwanted advances towards her. But it took all these years of silence, all these years of people not listening, all these years of
2009. That's when the movie came out. So 11 years ago.
Way!
Yeah, like over a decade.
Not okay. It's just, and it's like, I'm not even pointing fingers, because I am 100% guilty in being probably the type of person that wouldn't have listened in 2009. Maybe I didn't even have my ears open in 2009 to hear, and it's so unfortunate. I always say, watching like Doctor Who and any sort of time travel show, as a woman and as a person of color, I never want to go backwards. It's never been good for us.
It's not.
Ever.
Yep.
It's never been good.
Time travel might, and that's still a might, that's going to go well for us in the future. But we know for a fact going back is not well at all. Like, especially for me in America, like, I will be most likely being forced to build railroad or something. Like, it won't be good. Yeah.
No, it has not been good.
Like, a lot of things are happening still right now, I think, has to carry over from World War II. And, it took many years. And, like, since then, we're still slowly washing out those kind of, propaganda ideas that, people have to face against. Of course, we know about imprisonment camp, the Japanese camp in America, all those stuff that add on putting, Asian in a very bad light. In most scenario. So it's still taking many, many years for us to kind of wash out that concept and understanding, like, dude, man, we're all America. We all want to, we want to, make everything equal for everyone.
Man, this is, okay, so let me try to backtrack and get all the information out here. The like, racism goes so deep, and it's not just like what seems obvious, right? Like, I feel like internment camps in World War II and how Asian people in general were treated in the US is one thing, for sure. Like, there were not just Japanese people in internment camps, there were Koreans and Vietnamese, because people couldn't tell.
I can't differentiate, yeah.
If they were Japanese or not. That's definitely a huge cloud that is still hanging over the US. But my mom and I were talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and how she's like, I have so much racism like ingrained in me, and I'm like, who put that in your head? Like, where does that come from? And it's we're trying to dig deep. My mom's in her 70s and she's trying to figure this out, and I'm like, good for you, Mom.
That's good. Yeah.
Like, good for you for trying to figure out where this comes from. And in doing so, I was like just researching her generation and what they grew up with and things, and racism is so ingrained in Japanese culture and a lot of Asian culture as well, from wanting to bleach your skin if you're too dark. This sort of like white worship, not just skin color, but culture and Western culture as well. I was looking at like during World War II with American troops coming to Japan, even like brothels separated their beautiful women and their, not as like wanted women. And the beautiful women went to the white US soldiers in the brothels, and the not wanted women went to the black soldiers. And so that already inherently creates racism within Japanese people of like, oh, well, the unwanted go to the black troops, the wanted go to the white troops, and how that is already something that's ingrained in something. It's already pitting people of color up against each other in like the most asinine way. And I feel like those things trickled into day-to-day life as well. And I think that is that continued on. And then it continued on in media, and it continued on into the, even like the manga and the anime that we all grew up watching, and my mom's generation grew up watching. It's like, how many black characters are there in anime? It's like, how many characters look Asian as opposed to looking white, even though they're playing Japanese people?
Yeah. And here's the thing, this is something that I experience myself all the time, and it's a complex idea that I try to explain to a lot of white Americans about, is that Asian usually have this weird complex because of the media that we face, and because America did become one of the most successful country, if not the most successful country in the last century. So we have this complex where we know American shouldn't deserve all this like glory that they have, glory, whatever you like to call it, because they only have 300, 400 years of history, at most 400 years. And let's say a person have 80 years of life. That's only like 4 people. That's it, That's not a lot. That's 4 people building a country. That's it, like lifetimes wise. And they are one of the biggest country in the world. So we don't think they deserve it, but we definitely recognize they are one of the most successful country in our world. So it becomes the complex I feel like about cheerleaders, like in high school, where you feel like these girls born pretty and very popular and become the most popular kids. You don't think they did anything to deserve it. But at any moment you were asked to, if you want to switch spots with them, you would say yes. So it's kind of like, I don't think they should be like this, but I want to be that. So we put that's in the worship, as you said, the white worship kind of like up there. And I think a lot of this has to also do with socioeconomic status, because American, of course, is very about capitalism. And in order for capitalism to work, someone has to be better than other. That's literally how capitalism works. So I guess they have to use race as a way to put people at different level, so then they have an enemy. That's a very American kind of culture, I feel like, having an enemy. And unfortunately, it was a race issue. That's what we turn against.
Yeah, I think Asians in the US were always kind of like the model minority. It's almost like if white America was like our parents, like the parents of like Americans in general, Asians were treated as like don't tell all the other kids, but I like you best. It's like, keep going to school and keep being smart. You're the best ones. And I think that's like, it created this this racial tension for so many years that was not, it's brought on by so many things. I can't say that it's brought on by one thing or another, but I think being told that you're a model minority growing up makes you inherently feeling like you're higher on the totem pole, and it shouldn't be that way.
It's not how you pit people against each other, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really manipulative. And in the same way as like it would be really manipulative in a family to be told that you are better than your sibling, you know? And it's just having to have to educate yourself, undo so much, and just kind of restart over. Because like you said, we're such a young country. Like
so
the
young.
US is like, it's like a really successful TikTok teenager.
Yeah, that's how I see it. There are a teenager who ran away from the British, and like they're like, "Mom, I'm not gonna live here anymore. I'm gonna run away and start my own company." And your mom's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." But ironically, it worked. It worked, and it's like, okay, frick, like, all right, fine, it did work, and the kids are making millions of dollars, and like now I can't really tell them what to do because they made it work.
Yeah.
So
and like the everything that the US like kind of emulates, and so much of like why I have like grown to love it so much is like this like middle fingers up in the air, we're doing it better, you know, eagles flying, you know,
USA.
like yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be in that sort of like, it's almost like being on the good side, like in a wrestling
it's a little bit rebellious, but it works that you're fighting for the good fight, and then you're like, oh, I did it, you know, like it's a very American culture, and I love it for it. And you know, I just want to see how we can use it for good, but not for bad.
100%. Yeah, I think we just need to grow up. You know, it's like we have to peel it back and be like, okay, but there's also empathy. There's also learning from countries that have been around for 5,000 years. Like there's, you know, it's like people have been doing things for a lot longer than the US have been doing things. And it's important for us to understand that we're still very, very new. And just because it's new doesn't make it better. I think, you know, there's still growth that needs to happen, and you know, it goes both ways. I think, you know, the era that we're in, we are starting anew. We are using tactics that have never been used before, and that includes bringing droves of people together through Twitter. You know, it's like we're using these tools that we now have that have never been around before, and I think that's a fantastic thing. It's just having to realize that we all have room to grow. There have been mistakes in the past, and you know, there's still a lot more to do.
And I have to recognize, and people should recognize, is that it's not easy. Like the whole having different ethnicity, different race, different culture into one country is definitely not easy. And I explained this to other friends before too, is that because they don't understand why is there such a difference. Is that because when you talk about, let's say, Chinese, right? The culture is the people, like both, you know, the ethnicity, both the culture is the same thing. But when you say American, it doesn't have to be white, black, Asian, or anything. American can be any ethnicity. So therefore, there's a very different kind of setting for us to develop as a country. And it's also weird for me too. I'm sure that might be weird for you as well, but let me know if it's not. Is how some teenager American are like very fantasize how it's like to be in Asian, especially Japanese culture. But it's very different. Like, you know, culture in Japan is very homogeneous. There's still a lot of racism and sexism, like really big in sexism there, and they don't see that. It's not. I feel like it's not as easy to say you can have the good thing of each thing and then just have it as one country. It's not easy. It's definitely not an easy way to do it.
For sure. Yeah, I think in the way that, you know, a lot of Asian cultures have had white worship, there's a lot of the reverse. Like there's like Japanese like fetishization and like Japanese worship where it's just like they think everything is just the anime. But you're right, there's so many problems with it that's still inherently seeped into the writing and the
funny thing is that in Japan, otaku's also shunned upon, you know, like they're not the cool kids.
100%. It's not good.
Yeah,
it's not a good thing to be an otaku for sure.
But everyone's like, especially all the anime fans in America, like, yeah, those are the coolest kid, and that's what Japanese and Japan is about. I'm like, no, most working class thing is like, okay, but it's no.
Yeah, I think in the US, you know, like Americans, we have a tendency to take what's not cool and we try to flip it on its head. But it doesn't work so well in other cultures. And like in Japan, it's like otaku are looked down upon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's easy to cherry pick, like you said, culture, things in cultures that fit well for you and feel nice for you and make you feel good. But there's just so much with Japanese culture that's still really problematic. And I think that speaking out about things is still something that is so inherently tied to the culture that you're not supposed to do, that we're still backwards, like years, like 10 years. And I hope that those are the parts of Western culture that Japan can cherry pick, not just fashion and the aesthetics and things like that. Like there's really good things about the Western culture that can be very cherry picked, but it's still, if you had to take hyper different cultures, I think Japan and the US are on opposite ends. Even though one tries to emulate the other as much as possible, they're not doing it on like
simultaneously.
Yeah, it's just it's a surface level emulation, I think.
Because like I think America is also getting to that point where it's like something that works, they want to keep doing that because it worked. Again, because it only a few hundred years of history, so we never had something that we feel like that it worked. But until like in recent history in America, where it's like, oh, this is how things are always is. So let's keep it this way. In other cultures, in other countries that has been around for few more hundreds, few more thousands years, and it's like, yeah, that's how things always were. So it shouldn't make sense for us to change it. And that's why in Japanese culture, Asian cultures, it's really hard for us to change and adapt new kind of thinking easily because they've always been that way.
Yeah. It's I can't talk about it because it's a game that's not out yet, but there's these definitely cultural ties of like sticking with the old versus adapting to what's newer, and just the growing pains of making that decision of like, do you stick with the rules and the confines that have worked for generations and if anything are more honorable and seen as the right thing, or do you do what is modern and contemporary and the harder thing to do in order to get the job done? I'm being very vague because I still have an embargo video game, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe we can talk in a couple of weeks and you'll know what I'm talking about, Martin.
It's funny for a lot of things that we do, that's always embargo, and I always have to keep track in my mind. Just like I actually have to Google things to like sometimes to talk to friends. Like, okay, let me Google what is technically out there yet and what is not. Of course, for us, it's a lot of games, and for me specifically, a lot of product as well. Because sometimes I do product photography. So I remember there were a few E3s where like they announced some new mouse or keyboard, some kind of like equipment they have. And I'm like, what do you mean you just announced it? I saw this the last like 4 months ago. Like, what did you Oh, right, because I have a bunch of prototype in my house. Like, oh, right. This is new to people. Totally forgot.
Your photography is so nice. So pretty.
Thank you. Like, it is tricky though, because like people know me for my cosplay stuff. Some of them might even know my for portrait stuff. But then if I mix any of them together, like my product, truffle, my surreal, people get very confused. So I still have to separate them because it's annoying. But fans only follow one thing for one thing. If you do anything else, I get it too.
Dude, that's the hardest thing that I have with my branding, if you will. It's just like, we're so multifaceted, but and I feel like most people get it, but people still want to be able to put you in a really like easy box and be like, Martin Wong is this and this and this, and that's
nothing else.
Not this many things. And
Yeah.
I have a very hard time not being this many things.
They get confused and they don't. I feel like, I want to do new things, but then they really like that one thing. I'm sure that's same for you. Like, that is really cool. We really love it. We'll support you for that. But I want to show off I can do other stuff, and I like other stuff as well. But it's it's
Dude,
tricky.
I'm trying to do my my media reel right now, and it's a hot mess, man. It's a hot freaking mess because I'm like, all of these things are me, and it's like, how would somebody define this?
Yeah, like introducing guests like you is always tricky because we know for a fact that you do many things. I know for a fact, and I see you at different places. And I like every time we go to gaming events or any events, and then introducing you to companies is difficult, and us even introducing ourselves is difficult because they're like, "What do you do?" And every time they ask that, I always say, "What do you do?" Because it's changed what I do for you. It changed. Yeah.
I have a different array of hats.
Mm-hmm.
What you do will depend on which hat I wear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like even for me, like yes, photographer is an obvious one, but of course, I do gaming as well. Starting making more YouTube content, but I'm also kind of a content creator in a way because most photographer are that we know of. It's not really not influencer type, So like, what do you want me to be? And of course, I deal with cosplay. I also have my own agency where I hire cosplayer and influencer as well. So it's like, what do you want me to be? Like, where are we at today?
Yep. I'm so glad that I'm not the only person in this boat, Martin. That makes me very happy. Cause yeah, it's a weird struggle, and I don't think that it's like a
It's not a bad thing.
of all trades sort of thing. I think it's just in the time that we're in. We have the tools to be able to learn so much, and if you have a curious mind, if you are, the type of person who is like a beginner's mind sort of person who is just like, okay, I don't know anything about this, but I want to learn, so I will. And you're easily adaptable, then it gets to this position where it's just like, I don't know, you could do so much more. And I think any other generation, it would be like, no, Martin, you stick
one tray and that's it.
You stick to wedding photography and that's it. That's all you do. It's like,
I used to shoot weddings too.
And that's it. And it's like, I think, especially being Asian, I feel like those are definitely traits that we grow up with, where it's just like, you do one thing, you master that thing, and you die until you do that one thing.
Yep. Yep.
But, I think growing up that way and having those sort of being in that cage for so long, as soon as I stopped dancing and I stepped into doing YouTube things and started, mountain climbing and like traveling on my own, as soon as I kind of like let myself off of that leash, I went bananas and I started doing everything. But
we didn't even talk about like what have you done with the YouTube stuff, because you were one of the big, and you still are, but I'm just saying like really pioneer on the YouTube space, doing Smosh Gaming and all those stuff. Like, how was that like? Because I feel like it's such a big thing, and kind of at the same time, it's like how it is uncharted territory. When you first started, I feel like.
I think the one thing that kept me going, kept me sane, kept me, if anything, like it ushered me through safely through like all of the roller coaster that is, YouTube and YouTube quote unquote like fame or whatever it is the fact that I had ballet and that career to ground me. Because everything that was happening in YouTube was not my like aspirations. Like, I wasn't like, I want to get to 100,000 followers. I need to make this much money from YouTube. It was always a secondary thing that I made time for while focusing 100% on my career as a dancer. Because there was, when I started and up until about 4 years, until 4 years into doing Smosh, I never thought that I would leave ballet. It's the thing that I had been working for since I was 2.5. I'm like, there's no way that I'm going to leave the ballet world. And so everything I did with YouTube, despite Smosh Games being founded and like kicking ass like from the get-go. Of course, it's a sister channel of Smosh, so like we hit 1 million in less than a month. Like there, it was just huge. But even with that, even 2 years into doing Smosh games, 4 years total with Smosh, I still wasn't like, this isn't my full-time gig. This ballet is my full-time gig. This is who I am. And so I think that is the one saving grace that kept my feet like on the ground and prevented me from kind of like floating off into the abyss with the hope that this is everything that there is. I think that there's still so much more. So yeah, I as much as I have a turbulent relationship with dancing, I'm very grateful for it.
And people ask us this all the time, and I feel like we give the similar answer. Is the question is, how do I get big on this and that? And we all like, we don't really know. Like we kind of work hard and got lucky that it pays off with what we did. There's no formula. If there is, I would definitely start teaching masterclass, but that's not how that works.
I always say, show up and don't be an asshole. Like, you have to work, you have to show up, you have to keep going, and then being like kind and just not an asshole. Like, people will continue wanting to work with you. You know what I mean? Like, like the reason why you work with so many of like the people in cosplay. Not just like some of the biggest, like the biggest people in cosplay, is because they want to continue working with you for your friendship, for who you are, because you're professional, because they enjoy your company, and I think that comes down to working on yourself as an individual. And so it's one of these things where it's like when a 12-year-old comes to me and they're like, how do I become a YouTuber? I always say, like, live your life, like become a full person. Like if you're going to be talking to a stream or on a vlog or something, you want to be able to share something from your own life and share what you've learned and share who you are. And if you don't know who that person is yet, it's going to be
nothing to share.
Difficult. Yeah, it's that's one thing you can't fake. You can fake it for a moment, I think. You can fake it for a little while, but then you start to run dry of like who your identity is, and
unless you learn fast enough. The only way you can fake it and keep going is that you have to learn what that is really quick to be like, oh wait, that is what I'm doing, that is who I am and how I want to be. And that's how some people are thrown into deep end and they were able to do that. But if you don't have that situation, it's difficult to keep up, as you say.
Yeah, I think for longevity's sake, like you need that sort of core of who you are outside of all of this, because gosh, if I was 17 or 18 and I got thrown into the mix with Smosh and Smosh games, I don't know if I would have my head on right. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I would have been developed as a person enough to accept all of it and accept it with gratitude, I think.
And that's exactly what I've been saying too. So I have worked with a few people in the past, and I always want to help someone new to get into the content creation scene or being like a cosplayer, YouTuber, whatever they want to be. But because I want to help them, because I wish someone was there to help me when I first started, because there's so many things I don't know. But I feel like if I had someone help me, or because I see it that people that I'm helping is that they don't appreciate it. And also I feel like because they didn't have to go through the hardship, then they don't understand how to learn themselves. So it's kind of like a weird, mix of like, wow, I had to go through this to become who I am, but I wish I didn't have to. But if I didn't have to, maybe I wouldn't become who I am,
Yeah. I feel like that's the dilemma that every parent has too. It's like, am I a bad parent for not helping the child? But at the same time, like, you become who you are, like you said, like through the hardships, and like, like I don't know. It's a very difficult thing. We're at the moment we are writing that blueprint of like how to do this, and some of the way that we came to at least being able to have a skeleton of what that blueprint is is making a ton of mistakes. And
Yes.
you know, like that is the only way that we really experience and learn things. So if we hand over this you know, book chapter by chapter of how to do it without
Having a conclusion,
letting
we're still
people-
writing it.
yeah, we're writing it and we're going back in chapters being like, oh, never mind. That's no longer relevant, and that also didn't work. You know, it's like, are we allowing people to not make those mistakes that shaped us?
Speaking of going back and then like crossing things that you shouldn't do, or like maybe it doesn't make sense, TikTok. What do you think? Because right now, did you hear the news? Like, they might be banning TikTok, and lots of people I know they were trying to grow on it, but it's gonna be
so interesting. I mean, it goes back to don't be a one-trick pony, right? Like,
don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I don't know. It's such an interesting thing. I haven't read enough about it. I just know the headline. But I'm like, in some ways, okay, there is a security problem, right? Like, there's too much that the app is able to access security-wise. But in some ways, I'm also like, you know, Gen Z is all over TikTok. TikTokers and K-pop fans were able to like corral enough people to buy a bunch of Trump rally tickets to cause that whole commotion. Is there also a reason, you know, another reason why they want TikTok banned is to like disband Gen Zers from being able to, like, you know, talk on a certain app or something. I don't know. That's me with my tin hat. Like,
there's some conspiracy theory then.
Exactly. That's one of the conspiracy theories that I jumped to as soon as I heard that. But yeah, I
mean, it's not unbelievable. There's so many things that, like, we have seen, like, even some confirmed ones. Like, we have seen how American had done a lot of like crazy stuff, like the whole thing of Hawaii and like the battle with drugs. Like, there's so many things that's like, ooh, that was really shady, you know?
Oh, I don't know about this.
Like how America got Hawaii.
Yeah,
that's one of the weird ones. American literally just invaded Hawaii, where they had a queen and everything. They're like, nope, you're not queen anymore. You're now part of America, and this is our land now. That's a spark notes of it. Yeah, while they still have a queen that's living and ruling there, and they're like, nah, it's ours now. It's like, what? That's why Hawaiian has this weird, like, kind of also conflict of like, are we American or we're Hawaiian? You know, imagine getting invaded and then become a, you know, part of some country that does maybe make Hawaii better. I feel like that's a struggle we have with Hong Kong as well. But since we didn't get invaded, but we were grateful what British have done. But, like, you know, that's kind of like but what are we ourselves? You know, and of course, if the drug trade in and the war against drug, like, American had did a lot of crazy stuff. You know, the CIA has done some crazy stuff too that you can read upon. But so anything is possible, especially in 2020. Every month is something new.
I think it's so much as like we're learning so much. Like I think all this information was available when the internet started getting really big and, you know, like, people started talking, but maybe we weren't inclined to, like, really start digging deep yet. And
we're not good at that. People are so fast to jump onto idea instantly. Like even during the Black Lives Matter movement, when we were doing we're still in it, but when we did the whole like social media blackouts kind of thing, like, when people first someone said about it, everyone's, yeah, let's all do it. But I'm like, no, that's a bad idea. Same thing for Twitch. They wanted to do Twitch blackouts where they don't stream for a whole day. I'm like, no, that's also a bad idea. And I explain on Twitter why that doesn't work and what is some other better proactive way to do it. So we don't really look at information details. We just jump on things instantly. That's the culture right now. It's good and bad, you know. So
it's good and bad. Yeah, I think you're totally right about that. It's a what is it? It's a
double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword.
Yes.
Idioms. American idioms are so hard, man.
They are.
I had to learn them as an adult. I'm sure this is for you too. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, we didn't grow up with these idioms. We grew up with
I'm a 1.5 generation immigrant. I learned so many things. I was like, and sometimes I say it wrong, and people's like, maybe we should correct him or not. Like, because it's kind of funny too, because like it's weird already by itself, and then changing it gonna make it even weirder.
So close, right? There's times I use idioms and it's very close, or it makes two together or whatnot, and I'm always
some
like,
of them actually. Some of them, they also got it from American and culture, and English itself is a mix of a bunch of different cultures and languages. Like English itself makes no sense to me a lot of time because some of the words just shouldn't,
It's the age-old like GIF and GIF problem. Like that is across all of English, and it shouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that. Yeah, some of the idioms they got from other language too.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I know. I don't want to say every other language does not have this problem, but I feel like most other languages don't have this. Like you sometimes say G with a G, and sometimes you say it with a J. Like at least for Japanese, it's consistent all across. It is always like this letter denotes this sound, and there's just no question about it. But yeah, you're right. It comes back
English
to
is like 4 or 5 different languages in one. It's just a bunch of language in a trench coat and pretend to be one language.
Hilarious.
Like
and somehow we convince the rest of the world that this is the language to know.
And if you say it wrong, people say, "Oh, you're wrong." It's like, but how is this wrong? You made this up. It's like you made this rule. Like, and then every rules have exception, and every exception has an exceptions.
Yeah, it's like you can't say it's wrong when it's totally normal in the language to say enchilada. It's like that's not how you say it, but that becomes correct. Enchilada.
You say it another way, they're like, "Nope, you're wrong." I'm like, "What? Who made the rules? Like, who let you make the rules?"
Right, karate. That has become like the way to say it. Karaoke.
Karaoke.
Karaoke. Like, why has English become the norm for the whole world?
That's what happened when you become the popular kids who ran away from home and miraculously become successful.
Yeah, man. English is the Logan Paul of languages.
Oh my god.
Got real popular, and everyone wanted to jump on it, and then centuries later we're like, hey, this doesn't work.
Dude, yeah, like
there's problems with this.
Oh man, I mean, I'm still pretty new to the YouTube world, but man, the chasing that YouTube kind of like the meta, whatever the content creation structure is like, it's so much work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. I'm grateful that I'm kind of stepping out of it.
What's your transitioning to? What's the next thing?
Well, right now I'm on a show on Quibi, and it's run by Polygon, which is owned by Vox. Both companies that I really, really like, and I love Vox Media for the stuff that they produce. They've always kind of done like hard-hitting media, and I feel like they've been covering news that has become more like overarching news in 2020, but they've been doing it for a long time. Like they talk about the drug trades, they talk about Black Lives Matter, they talk about racism and sexism, but they've been doing it for a long time, and they get like really nitty gritty with it. And so I appreciate that media company a lot for just how kind of like grimy they get with their news coverage. And then Polygon is like, it's always been my go-to like gaming news site. So being able to combine those two and being able to work with them on this capacity is really, really huge. So
how many episodes are you doing for that show?
Well, it's 6 months to a year.
Ooh.
And it's weekly, 3 episodes per week on Quibi. So yeah, I'm so
That's
grateful.
A lot.
Like I'm very, very grateful.
How are you doing this during Corona? Like, what is this? Is like it's a story, or like the show is like tell me more.
It is. It's a lot, man. It's like, so we use Discord. There's usually 2 to 3 producers on Discord who can see my camera footage. And normally when we do this, like on the camera, like there's everything on it, seeing like the lighting and like microphone and levels and way more than me, but like ISO and all that stuff, and making sure that everything's balanced. And then I go through the script, and there's a lot of people on the team.
And people don't understand how much work it is to do productions.
Oh, it's so much work, and Quibi shows are 7 minutes long. They're short form. They're short form pieces of content, but so much work goes into it. I'm just like, and like everyone at Polygon's really, really rad. I gotta say, like people just are interested in the work, and it's a really diverse group of folks and lots of voices, and we're able to bring a lot of fun conversations to the to the platform, like important conversations. Like I mentioned earlier about the Sims modder Ebonics and what she's doing for her community, and just how big it is to be able to do what like EA as a publisher should be doing, which is helping helping people simulate themselves in a game called Sims. But she's doing their work by creating all these mods and creating more hairstyles with kink in their hair and curls, and creating different shades for people. And it's just, I think I'm really grateful to be able to be connected to people in the gaming industry that I may or may not have had my eyes open to in the past. And so I'm just really loving it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super grateful. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what's next. You said what's next? I don't freaking know, Martin. I used to have a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan for my life, and that was do ballet until my knees break and then teach ballet until I die. Like, that used to be my whole life. Format. I don't know anymore. I don't know. I don't know what's next.
And it changed daily. That's the thing. Like some days someone could come to you, hey, we have this new project. Would you be interested? Your life completely pivots because of that. Like I wouldn't expect to be doing this. Like I didn't even expect to start a vodcast, but everything just happened. Even photography.
Did you always know that you were going to be a photographer?
No. Like I started playing Photoshop when I was around like 7, like very young age. I started playing Photoshop.
Wow.
So. Because my dad is a designer, so I was able to have access to all the software easy. Adobe, Acrobat, like all the stuff, like AutoCAD, like all the stuff,
Martin,
easy.
Holy crap!
So I was more of a retoucher before a photographer.
Hours when you were like 10. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was always like easy for me to do and always do it for funsy. And my high school, when I go into high school, and then they wanted me to be the photo editor for the newspaper because I know everything about photos compared to them. So they're like, cool. And then in college, I also got hired by the school because like, wait, you shoot all the time? Like I didn't even work for them at first. They just see me at every event. Like, this guy, he has like very nice equipment. He throws out good photos. He doesn't even work for us. Who the heck is this guy? Then they eventually like, can we just hire you so you can get content for us? And we did. Like I managed their like Facebook photos for the longest time too. I had to teach them how to handle social media as well because it was so new to school to do that. And yeah, and then next thing you know, I got into cosplay. Luckily, work hard, being nice to people, start working for more people. Social media come along and build a following, and then people kind of know me as a photographer. But I didn't study photography. I went to school for econ and world trade, international world trade. I worked in Silicon Valley before this.
No,
I did tech. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I worked in some of the biggest tech company in the world.
That's where I'm from, right? I'm from the Bay Area.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm from Fremont, so.
My goodness. I'm right across the bay, or right across from Fremont. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder... and then you should go to work every day, like, across the bridge.
Oh man, what, like in Redwood City area or what?
Yeah, I worked for a social media company, the social media company. So I work around there. Of course, worked for like one company that shaped like a fruit, all kind of stuff.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's so crazy.
But
Isn't
now
that
people
weird to
know me as a
think that
photographer.
at some point, like we might have crossed paths
I would not be surprised.
in the Bay Area? Oh
I
man,
wish one thing we can do is time traveling. Like, maybe in the future something is possible. I'm not sure how, but it's not to visit place, but visit time, just you can watch it from a third person perspective, and
oh
just
man.
see how you were or see how some of the people was. Like, oh, that was interesting.
I feel like there would be so many moments where I'd be like, Mari, your lack of communication is just astonishing.
It's like, this is how you talk. Oh my god, you were an idiot. What were you thinking?
All I can say is I'm grateful for being able to grow up. The evolution is nice to be able to have, but man,
It takes certain mindset. I think the good and bad thing about us is that we will never stop growing because we were never fully satisfied. There are moments like, oh, this is cool, but then after very short, like it's not even that long, it's not even after a long while, just a little short while, we're like, okay, I need to do better. Like there's got to be better things I can do at get better at this, whatever I'm doing.
For sure. Was there ever like a tipping point for you where you're like, oh, I need to start like changing my life for one way or another? Like, was there any like a defining moment for you?
I think like working at a 9 to 5 was killing me slowly. Like, here's the thing, like working for a desk job, this is how I see it. You have to offer me one of the three things. A is either money, because money allow me to do other stuff that I want to do, like traveling, take photos. And if you're not giving me a raise, then that's really not helping me. Two, you teaching me something. Then I feel valuable. I'm learning a skill. I'm learning something that can make myself enrich myself to be better. So that. And three, you promoting me, which helped me to go to other companies or get more money and kind of help do the other two things, and or like work with more people. But if you're not offering any of those three things, and especially when I'm offering like advice on how to make your company more efficient, how to make it better, and you're not taking any of it, I'm like, you're making me not creative, not happy. I'm leaving. Like I'm definitely making more money back then working in Silicon Valley than I am doing now. It's just but it just make me happier. It's funny too. When I first moved to LA, I just left Silicon Valley, and then I was trying to do background work just to see how it's like, right? Again, that doesn't offer money, doesn't give me promotion, but it offered me experience. It gave me something to learn. I want to see how it was like and how the production was like. So one of the first show that I was being a background actor, I was working on Silicon Valley. And I show up, and then they're like, "Yeah, you don't dress right," and they have to change all my clothing. Like that's how they look like. I'm like, Are you sure? Because I just literally came from Silicon Valley like a few weeks ago. So
funny.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like I literally walk by Zuckerberg like almost every day. I'm like, dude, I know how this looks like, so I don't know why you think I don't know. So,
dude, the one time on Facebook campus, I saw him just like typing like in a room, like on a stand-up
he lived in
he
worked in a glass bowl. He like working in his office is called the fish bowl because it's glass on each side, and he dressed the same every single day. He looks like a robot.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that guy looks like Mark Zuckerberg, or it is him. and I was with Peter's brother who was working there, and he's like, no, that's him. I'm like, he's just like right there. It's bananas. Like everyone can just see him right there. It's pretty interesting.
But nobody want to really talk to them because you don't want to get in trouble or like this, But this is
yeah, that's so interesting. You mentioned something about your 9 to 5. And I think I go back to whenever somebody's like, how like what's one of the best things that you have done in order to like continue doing what you do, like with YouTube and just being like a content creator and all these things. I think for longevity, for you to have the right mindset and to continuously be grateful no matter what happens in what you do, you have to have had a job that you hate.
I have done retail before too. Yes, it
It's
makes
like
you
you
more
need
grateful.
something. You need something to compare what you could be doing
Mm-hmm.
versus
Yep.
what you get to be doing right now. Like if you don't have those parameters of how bad like retail can be, I always go back to when I worked at a gym and I was scrubbing a treadmill and someone sweated on me. That was the moment where I was like, I
can't do this.
hate this. Like I hate this moment and how I feel right now. And like I think it's so important to be able to have the
That motivation,
like,
you know.
yeah. Like I don't care how hard it gets with what I'm doing. I know that I love it way more than being sweated on at a gym.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, I did retail job too. I was scrubbing a toilet, and man, there was so many things like, yeah. There are always days I'm like sitting at home, it's like maybe I should get another 9 to 5, you know, more steady income, you know, all kind of stuff. But then there's like gonna be flashback where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good, I'm good here. Like I'll work harder. I'll just work harder here, so I can't not have to go back to that.
100%, and it's that mindset I think that has kept me going. I think it keeps you going, and it's the one mindset that I'm like when my nephews are like, oh, I just want to be like Jake Paul and wake up at 2 p.m. and vlog a little bit and party and ride in my Lamborghini. I'm like, yeah, that's what you think it is, and it's
doesn't
for a
work
short
like that.
time. It could be, but if you don't have the understanding of what real life is like, then it's so easy to get lost in wanting more without being grateful. And
like,
man.
First of all, those are special cases, very special cases. B is that like you do YouTube and you know how hard and how much work it is. Even for like a 10-minute video, you have to do like hours of prep works and hours of like afterward either editing or like, you know, take down like everything. There's so much to do for just a short 10-minute videos that maybe most people on this planet will not have watched.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. 100%.
And then you ask yourself like, why am I doing this? And then like, all right, what are we doing next week? Let's do something again.
Yeah. It's like, why am I doing this? And it's like, because I could be doing something else, and I don't want to be doing that other thing.
We should write a book about like, you know, to find your dream job. First, find a job that you hate.
Yeah, it's such a creed that I believe in. Otherwise, I think it's really hard to be grateful for what you do if you don't have that understanding. Like the amount of times that I had a freaking breakdown, like the first, I want to say like 4 years, I want to say maybe the first 3 years of YouTube and me producing Smosh Pit Weekly. I was working with my only computer, which was a laptop that wasn't fast enough to run Final Cut Pro 7 at the time. And it would crash in the middle of the night, you know, and I would have a freaking meltdown. And Peter, who's now my husband, who was my boyfriend then, like would just like, you know, like bring me like cups of water and just like cookies in the middle of the night to keep me going. And, you know, I still had a full-time job. And so, some of the times I'd be teaching ballet like at 10 a.m. the next morning, or I had a performance that I had to be on my A game for, but I still did it. Like I still had sleepless nights for, I want to say like 300 weeks in a row.
Jesus Christ.
Because you just do it because you know that you could be doing something else, and the other thing is just crappy. Have a job that you hate
the
at some point in your life.
You working for yourself or you doing something that can contribute to your life feels much more empowering than working for someone who doesn't care about you. You're replaceable, and even if you spend many sleepless nights for them, you could be instantly replaced with a snap, and that feel so. This is not satisfying.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
So that's the lesson.
That's the lesson. That's the post. That's the lesson. Yeah. All right. It's really cool to be able to connect on something like that. I think there's a lot more people who are creatives who would agree with us as well.
We should hang out more and talk more about this someday.
Man.
Anyway, how can people find you?
Across the board at Atomic Mari, and if you have Quibi already, then find the show Speedrun as well. I'll be on.
How do you come with Atomic Mari, by the way?
Oh, the first day that Smosh Pit Weekly went live, it posted, it went live, and Peter was like, "Don't you think you should have like social media?" And I'm like, "Huh, probably." And he's like, "You should start with Twitter." And so I was on Twitter, and it took me like 10 minutes of staring at what my screen name should be. I almost went with Mari KO, because Mariko is my full middle name. But instead I went with Atomic Mari because I figured that Atomic would be easier to like
Geeky.
be searchable because it starts with A. And so I went with Atomic Mari. I don't know. I thought of like,
because even if you do Mari, Takahashi might be too many characters as well, and people might not spell it right, and it's just
yeah.
I
do wonder at some point. I'm like, should I just get Mari? But I don't know if that's too pretentious or not.
And the thing is, like, also you might not gonna get it if someone, a new platform or something.
That's true. Yeah, it's hard enough getting Atomic Mari on some platforms. I have like weird iterations of like real Atomic Mari or the Atomic Mari or official Atomic Mari. Yeah, it gets very annoying.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And of course, everyone, please go follow her and watch her show on Quibi and everything. And again, thank you everyone for watching, for following. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube. You can find this on iTunes, on Spotify, everywhere. And have fun. Have a great weekend and a great week. And stay safe. I'll see you all around. So yeah, bye.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.